Hello everyone, welcome to the Prompt Engineering Podcast. In this video, we will take a deep dive into ChatGPT and learn how we can use ChatGPT for daily tasks, especially for creating simple utility tools with it. So let's get started.
Tectonic shift. Shaping the future with innovation.
Research is a very important topic. No matter if you work on a private or professional project, if you start a new hobby, if you want to write a book, whatever you want to do, you always have to research information. The awesome news is that with ChatGPT, research becomes easier and more efficient than ever before. So let's get started with the practical research example. My goal is to learn more about the world and about everything. For this, I want to find a new book that everybody should have read. To be able to choose between different books here, I will ask ChatGPT the following prompt. What are the top 5 books everybody should have read? A quite generic prompt though, but let's see what the results looks like. ChatGPT comes up with 5 books here, also stating that it's difficult to pick just 5 books, but we got 5 books to get started with already. As we learned in the previous episodes as well, we should be more specific about what we actually looking for. Maybe to be more precise about the topic, about the segment we are interested in, and let's say that we are actually interested into books which are related to business or personal development. And in addition to that, I just want to have the book title only. I don't want to have this very short summary of the book. For this, we will add the following prompt, so only give me the top 5 books, which are related to business or personal development, and only the titles. Let's see. So I have 5 books now, and the second one, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, sounds interesting to me. Now I want to dive deeper into this result. I want to have a short summary now of the content of this book. I want to know the page count of this book, and I want to know the year when this book was initially published. So again, we started from a very generic research, but now we are coming closer to a very specific book that we are interested in. This is the prompt we are using now, so we just refer to the numbers here as ChatGPT is content aware. And now with this more precise prompt, we finally have the result we were looking for. We found one book that we will read now. To make things complete, we can also ask ChatGPT where we can buy this book. And with that, we made our whole journey from a generic book research to buying a specific book. So this is how ChatGPT has made research much easier. And by the way, instead of starting with a very generic prompt we gave to ChatGPT, we can also start with a more specific prompt, like this here, where we want to have the top 3 books in a specific area with other constraints being added. Then we get a more precise and more specific result with the first output already. Of course, your research is not limited to books. In this case, no matter if you are planning your next trip, if you want to improve in sports, if you want to learn how to dance, whatever you want to do, you can always use ChatGPT for quite efficient research results. Another very important topic in our daily lives is summarizing information. No matter if you read a blog post or an article, if you get a very long email from a colleague, sometimes you only need to know the core information of a specific text. With ChatGPT, we can now summarize text within seconds. I have a very long blog post I copied from a website and pasted here. Instead of reading the long blog post or text and summarizing it on our own, to understand it properly, we can just provide the text to ChatGPT and then simply say, summarize this text for me or summarize this blog post for me. We don't add any further constraints in here. Let's just see what ChatGPT makes out of it. So this is a really long and unstructured summary. I want to have at least the subheaders in here and more core content should be remained in the summary. Then I can simply tell ChatGPT that I'm not totally happy with this way of summarizing the text. Let's say this is unstructured, so it should summarize the different topics in separate paragraphs. It should include subheaders, but of course, all core topics should be included. And now we have a obviously better summary, which still is a lot shorter and specifically more structured than the initial text. And with that, ChatGPT made it very easy for us to summarize this text very short. And this can also only be a starting point, and you can give more prompts as per your need to further polish the summary and upcoming results which ChatGPT will give you against your prompt. And this is a very efficient way to summarize text within seconds. We live in a globalized world, and you might receive information, text, articles, or emails in different languages. And ChatGPT can be a great helper in such cases. Same thing applies to tone adjustment. As mentioned earlier, I'm not a native English speaker. Therefore, if I write an email to a colleague, for example, and I might not be too happy about the work he or she delivered, then ChatGPT might help me to adjust the tone to make it a bit more friendly while still making my point clear. The next prompt contains an email sent by a colleague of mine. Let's call him Matthias. The problem is that Matthias only speaks German and my German is not the best. Therefore, I will just ask ChatGPT to translate this text for me. Let's be friendly and let's say please translate this text to whatever language you wanna have. I will stick to English here. And no big surprise, ChatGPT will of course able to do this within seconds. With that, I got a perfect or at least very good translation of the text which I now also understand. So this would be totally fine for my purposes. In case you want to have the translation in a better structure, you can also do this of course. So you can tell ChatGPT to provide the output in a specific format, in a specific style, so maybe like this. So ChatGPT should show both the original and the translation paragraph by paragraph. Paragraph by paragraph means that we have one paragraph in German, then one paragraph with the English translation and so on. This should be clear for ChatGPT. Now we get the entire translation paragraph by paragraph, so that's not required for this case here, but I think it's nice to know that translating can also be performed exactly according to your needs. You can also edit the initial prompt and resubmit it with some other language as well. It all depends on you and your need. So there's another example where I am a boss. Let's now say that I'm not too happy with the work that was delivered by a colleague. Therefore, I prepared this not too nice email. This email should show that I'm not happy with the code that I received, but actually we should be respectful with each other. Core idea should be kept, so I'm not happy with the work and I want to have an updated version of the code. But of course, the tone should be adjusted. It should still be friendly and respectful because this, to be honest, is not the way we should write emails and not the way we should provide feedback for our colleagues or for anybody actually. Why don't we let ChatGPT do the work for us by adding this text to our prompt, making this email more friendly? It should still be clear that I'm not happy with my colleague's work and that I need an updated version very soon. The email should be respectful and encourage the colleague to deliver the update as soon as possible. So let's see what ChatGPT makes out of this. And ChatGPT comes up with an improved email and writes the entire email in a more detailed, more friendly, and still encouraging way. This is a very extreme example, obviously, but in case you are not happy with the tone or the general way your email is written or any other text, ChatGPT can help you here and transform your text within seconds. Let's move on to another daily task, which is proofreading and enhancing text. Proofreading simply means checking our text for grammar or spelling mistakes. Enhancing text can be used again in the case that a non-native speaker wrote a text and you want to make sure that the text is transformed or enhanced to a more native speaking or native written style. For the proofreading part, I again prepared a pretty extreme example. As you see, lots of mistakes in there, spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, and so on. With this example, I just want to show you that ChatGPT is trained in a way that it produces output without spelling mistakes and grammatically correct output. Therefore, we can just tell ChatGPT again by adding the instructions ahead of our actual content to check this text for grammar and spelling mistakes and to provide the corrected version of it. As you can imagine, ChatGPT does this immediately. It rephrases parts of our text, corrects any spelling mistakes, and also improves it from a grammar perspective. So, whenever you have a text that might contain some errors, or whenever you want to send out an email to a client or anything like that, you can use ChatGPT to quickly proofread the text. Proofreading is not limited to a grammar and spelling mistakes only though. As mentioned, you can also add text which are generally correct from a grammar and spelling mistake perspective. But you can let ChatGPT rephrase the text to be written in an even better English. For example, if you are not a native English speaker or a content writer by profession, we do our best to provide articles with correct grammar and without spelling mistakes. Still, some sentences probably could be rephrased, so we can add a prompt like this to rephrase the article or paragraphs like native English speakers or like how content writers write them. We now saw lots of examples where ChatGPT helps us to make our daily tasks a bit easier. In this example now, we will have a look at how we can write utility tools or utility scripts with the help of ChatGPT. Writing such scripts generally requires a programming language knowledge. We will use Python in this case though, but the great news is that ChatGPT will do all the work for us. So you don't have to know anything about programming to create such little scripts. The only thing you have to know is that you have to grab and run a tool to achieve certain tasks or something you want to automate in your daily routine. This tool or utility which you will create from ChatGPT should do for you. I only have 3 files here for demonstration purposes, but these could be of course also be hundreds of files. As you see, the files simply contain to-dos for different days, but the naming of the files is not very consistent. So we have lowercase letters, uppercase letters, or both mixed, and I just want to make sure that I write a script to turn all uppercase letters into lowercase letters of these files. Let's see how ChatGPT can help us here. By adding this prompt, we instruct ChatGPT to be a programmer or to act as a programmer, and we tell it that we need a Python script. We can give the Windows or Mac under so that ChatGPT should be aware of our operating system on which we are working, our folder location and all relevant details, and at the end a goal what actually we want to achieve or automate. So let's see whether ChatGPT can come up with a solution that works for non-programmers. So this is the guide ChatGPT came up with, which contains all steps for a non-programmer person. Now let's follow this guide step by step and see if we actually created our first utility script. The first thing to do is we have to install Python. So in case you don't have Python installed, go to python.org and install it there. It's a very straightforward process. The second step is all about creating a new Python file and copy pasting the script given by ChatGPT into that file. In third step, it is telling us that how we can run the script in Windows machine. As I mentioned that my PC is running Windows operating system. You can see that even for non-programmers, ChatGPT came up with this utility script and detailed steps to automate basic daily tasks. That's all for today. Stay tuned as exciting new content is coming soon on Tectonic Shift. See you soon again. Bye bye.